What's up,
Hello, hello.
folks? Running down one and forgot what time it was. But
That happens.
yeah, as you can see, I'm a red dot today. You'll have to use your imagination beyond that, or not. Uh,
Or you can just look on this side of the screen.
yeah, we could just take it off there completely. Would be fine. So there's several things in the news I want to talk about today. But obviously we got to start with our president's holy war, right? The
Oh, God. He's trying to
uh,
talk oh so bad. He's
has
trying to.
Jesus showed up yet?
Last I checked, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't. That's supposed to be the deal. At what point? At what point during the like? Do you have to destroy Iran 100%? Like it has to be a crater in the ground, or like can you just blow up like 50% of the buildings, or do you have to kill like a certain guy? How you would think there's a specific place here. What I just want to know at what point it is that Jesus comes back. Uh,
I would say probably not until the zombie apocalypse.
oh, okay. So zombies have to
Yeah,
march around the Middle East.
at the bare minimum.
Uh, Does Jesus come back before or after the zombies? After, right?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, after. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe at the same time. I don't know.
Um.
Hmm.
Well, so our always honest president um, was he's been going around saying that he's engaging in talks with Iran. Unfortunately, he forgot to involve the Iranians in that
He forgot to
conversation.
involve anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Well, you know how sometimes crazy old people walk around and mumble to themselves. Maybe that's it. Um, he said that
Yeah.
Trump said that it's up to the Iranian leaders to convince him to stop the war, and that he doesn't care about making a deal. That he still has targets he wants to hit, but at the same time that he's in negotiations with them about making a deal.
Also,
Uh,
while admitting to war crimes,
Zombie
like
Jesus
cleaning
Day is my
someone.
favorite. Yeah,
Zombie Jesus Day is a good one.
yeah,
Still waiting for it though.
yeah. One of the funniest things ever was the scene in Talladega Nights where they're praying to the baby Jesus with his little tiny leapfrog, and uh, that was good stuff.
Yeah, little
Yeah.
baby Jesus. It's the little baby Jesus.
So in my area yesterday, we seen the mobilization of troops. Uh, uh, getting all geared up and shipping out, and lots of people there to see them leave and stuff. So looks like that's going to be a thing, I guess. Um,
Yeah. Um. I like because where I am in Texas, there's several bases here. And I would expect to have seen some stuff going down the highway, which they usually do. But like this week, I have not been on the highway that way. I've been going the other way because anybody who doesn't know, my mom had surgery earlier this week. So, um, I haven't seen anything, but from what I've heard, there's been some mobilization here too. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have like there's like a National Guard armory, and then there's a some I forget the other one. There's another place though, and they were that there's lots of troops in Kentucky already. We have multiple military bases. The they they were. I'm not sure what exactly they were doing, but they had a whole thing at the armory where they all came to watch them leave and stuff, and uh, yeah, but
yeah, I mean, this is all. He is trying his absolute damnedest to back out of this, and it's just the the hilarious. Well, I say hilarious, but it's not it's not hilarious in that way, but it's just ironic to sit there and watch him try and find a climb down for this and realize that there is no climb down at this point. There's just not. So he
yeah,
has no option except to escalate this, and it's even to the point that there's a good chunk of Republicans who are like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop it!" At this point,
yeah.
so
Well, I mean, even Netanyahu spoke the other day, and didn't he allegedly spoke the other day? That's a whole nother thing. But he spoke the other day and wasn't real clear about what the U.S. is doing either, or why Trump continues to escalate things. And Trump he said that he's going to bomb their energy infrastructure, which is a war crime. The which I mean, I guess the time's up on that, and he hasn't done it yet. So, or hasn't done more of it yet. Um, but yeah, so
mm-hmm.
a lot of confusing stuff out of the White House. The what, such as what is our goal? What, this is just an excursion or a military operation, which he
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, uh,
yeah. I mean,
um,
he keeps like he said, and like I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I would call it a war, but I can't call it a war, so I'm calling it this. And it's like, dude, you just fucking admitted it's a fucking war, and you've gone around Congress. Like, what the fuck? I mean,
yeah,
his approval rating is fucking bottoming out, dude. Like, you are so far underwater, even with your own base. Like, this is just it. This is pitiful. It's
yeah.
pitiful.
Yeah, yeah, his approval rating's really bad whenever you include the war stuff in it. Like
Oh yeah.
by far the worst ever. The like what the there's no clear answer though about what his goals are, what he's trying to accomplish. Then there's even conflicting media reports about, oh well, Iran has to agree to stop its nuclear program. Well, they've done that
Yeah.
twice now. They did it before the war started. Uh, the the national security advisor has been in front of Congress and stated that there was no imminent threat from Iran. So there, without an imminent threat, this is a war,
Mhm.
regardless of what Trump wants to call it. There being some kind of imminent threat to where he could call this a defensive military action in some way, was about his only avenue for making those claims. And
Yeah.
People have
You know what
left
I
his
mean?
administration. His national security advisor disagrees. Everybody disagrees, except for Netanyahu, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, oh my god. That's something that I've seen over and over, especially lately, that has crushed me up. Is people say, you know what, they were right. They said if I voted for Harris, we'd get into a war with Iran, we'd get this and that, and this and this and this and this and this. And you know what? They were right because all those fuckers voted for this guy. Literally every fucking thing he says is protection. Every fucking thing he says is fucking protection. He cannot get his ass out of this no matter how hard he tries at this point. Like, this is going to sink him, and I'm kind of surprised that this is what sinks him other than the Epstein files. Like, I would expect the Epstein files to sink him more than the war. But no, this is what's going to end up taking him down for it.
Yeah.
I think last I saw his approval rating is like hovering almost around 30 at this point, which is like fucking unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so funny that here a couple weeks ago, or no, that was last week, we had this argument where it's like, oh, Republicans are doing fine, and it's like, maybe not. 30% approval rating.
Mm. Yeah, I
Congress
mean,
Congress has a lower approval rating than that on like both sides, I think. But
Congress has a lower approval rating than herpes,
yeah, right.
and they have for like years. It always cracks me up because every time they do those surveys, it's like people are okay relatively with their own congressmen, but they fucking hate everybody else. It's like
Yeah.
your guy's part of the problem too. Like they are.
Yeah.
I mean, how the fuck do you get like 30% approval? Like, do you have any idea how much of your own base, your own hardcore base, has to abandon you to get to those numbers?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's one thing whenever they want to argue that, oh well, it's the swing voters that are causing this, and I mean, but they've polled among Republicans too,
Hmm.
like, and yeah, none of the swing voters. You don't
No,
have
none
any
of
of
them.
those anymore. If you do, they were never swing voters.
And
they were
even
diehard
yeah.
Republicans.
And I think even then, like a lot of the like okay, so this is one thing that been saying I've been saying this for years, and I've said even more this past year, and I've said on here too, is like there are several different factions of MAGA, and none of them agree with each other. And the thing is especially with the war in Iran, they're completely split on it. There's the Ben Shapiro wing that's all for it, and then you have literally everybody else who's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Now, granted, like some of them don't want the war for the quote unquote right reason. Some of them are just anti Semitic jerk offs, but
Oh sure.
like Fuentes. But still, but the thing is like there is nobody else that could have tried and held MAGA together, and it's falling apart so completely that even Trump can't hold it together
What? Well,
at
we're
this
going to
point.
talk about Fuentes in a minute
Oh God.
because he's such a good guy and all. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Uh,
I have a shirt that says "I punch Nazis," and yes.
it could have just said Fuentes is would have been the same thing. The Well, let's just go ahead and go there. So Nick Fuentes is gaining popularity among young Republicans and young conservatives of all different varying. support levels of what's going on now, and it's a problem, right? Like the Republican Party's having a harder and harder time convincing people that they don't support,
Yeah.
these Nazi ideas when you have whenever you want to they want to argue out one side of their mouth that, oh, young people supported, the Republican Party, that's why we won and all this stuff, but then not recognize that those young people are increasingly referring to themselves as Nazis.
Yeah.
I always have to explain that it's not literal Nazis because
Yeah. I'm like I'm the same way. Like I'll use the term just because it's convenient for casual conversation. But as far as I look at it, I study actual Nazis. These are neo Nazis. Like there's a
right, yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
there there is a solid difference.
yeah.
But I think also a lot of it is that there was a study that I saw a couple weeks ago that something like 54+% of Republican males think the Holocaust was a hoax.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
dude, and I've had to put out there's this one there's this one YouTuber that likes to portray himself as a historian. He's not, and I'm not going to give him the props by saying who it is. But I'm like, guys, you realize that even though this guy might be right twice a day, like even a broken clock is right twice a day, this guy literally says there's no evidence for the Holocaust. I beg to differ. Like, what the hell is wrong with people?
yeah. We have a different saying for that here. The it's about dogs' asses. Uh, the the so colloquially, uh, the term Nazi is. I mean, a lot of times we talk about, well, the Republicans are Nazis and whatever. Do you think that's a there's
um,
going to be two parts to this. Do you think that's a fair thing to be doing?
n- it it really depends on who you're talking about and what
Right.
aspect. Like, okay, so I'm so because of my historical work and stuff. Like, I'm so nuanced in the fact that I can definitely point towards a ton of Republican stuff and being like, this is Nazi-ish, this is Nazi-ish, this is not Nazi-ish. But I'm
Well,
a
okay.
little bit reluctant to straight up label them as Nazis or like all of them as a whole,
Yeah.
but
Well,
a
what I'm
lot of
getting
them
at,
would fit into that category.
what I'm getting at is how how sometimes uh, how sometimes that is what the people are doing. It's fair to use a term like that, and
Yeah,
that most of the time, though, when you go just throwing around that word, people don't take you seriously, and you
yeah,
shut down any
exactly.
ability to have a conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
which is why I tend to be really careful with
yeah,
that because people see that, and even if like for instance, Stephen Miller, straight up Nazi. Like,
yeah, yeah.
sorry,
No, I
but
would agree.
he's a straight up Nazi. But you want to talk about someone like um
Marco Rubio.
John Corn, like yeah, like Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio, I would not put into that category, and it's
Piece
one
of
of those.
shit person.
Yeah, it's one of those terms that it has so much weight behind it. It's like you can't call. It's like the same thing of you can't call everything a Holocaust because if you do, then it kind of lessens the
Yeah,
meaning of that to the point that it's just like Does it really mean what it meant anymore? There's other terms. You can easily say genocide and it works the same, but it just doesn't have the same kind of like
Yeah.
gut reaction. And
I,
you have to be cognizant of that gut reaction when you're talking to people who might not completely agree with you on a ton of stuff.
right. I think whenever we're talking, like, sometimes when we're here on the channel talking amongst ourselves, or like we know our audience is mostly
Mm-hmm.
people who support, uh,
Mostly.
you know, the atheist community and atheist channels, and are kind of part of our own group. And when we're talking amongst ourselves, I
Yeah.
understand, like, kind of being loose with that word because we know what
Yeah.
each other means. Um,
Yeah.
but it doesn't do you any favors if you're trying to talk to anybody who is even a bit skeptical of that idea.
Yeah.
So I do think that, like you said, the overuse of it takes away from how important it is. Sure, there's a genocide going on in the Middle East. You know, Netanyahu is committing a genocide now.
Oh, yeah.
But to compare it to the Holocaust, where they killed 6 million Jews, is not the
Yeah.
same thing.
I mean,
It's still a genocide, and it's awful.
yeah, and I mean, I would argue being as doing the research I have that what Netanyahu, because I don't really think the numbers necessarily matter. What matters is more the intent. And I think what Netanyahu is doing can approach that. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I think it's quickly approaching that. It's almost the same thing with uh, some other genocides that have happened. That like it can approach that level, but it's just one of those things that the word is so. It tends to be so overutilized in instances that it doesn't. That I tend to avoid it just as a matter of cause, just because of the gut reaction people tend to have.
Yeah. I think that. So, I think that Netanyahu, for a long time, has wanted to um, wipe out the Palestinian people by whatever means necessary and their culture. Um,
Yeah.
uh, you know, and there's this. We come into another term here where people conflate terrorists and Hamas with Palestinians,
Yeah.
and um, even if the Palestinians supported Hamas, which some of them did, I mean they were the only
Like
ones
2%
protecting
of them.
them from you know the attacks. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I mean, one thing to point out is, yeah, Hamas won an election like 20 something years ago. The
yeah,
vast majority of people in Gaza are 18 or under or around that age. And I think somebody did the math that it's something like 2% of Gazans are the ones who actually voted for Hamas. So, like, that excuse doesn't fucking work.
yeah.
And so quit fucking trying to use that. And it's
I don't think it matters.
yeah, it doesn't even matter at this point because like I've said time and time again, if Israel was actually serious about getting Hamas, it should have taken 2 weeks, a handful of special forces, and they could have gone in there, decapitated Hamas, gotten done with it. They've proven that they can do this kind of crap, and they can do these kind of special operations. They've done in Lebanon, they've done in other places, and they just didn't. And they are just bombing the hell out of Gaza because they can't. There are cities that are 3,000 years old that they leveled without a thought because who the hell cares? And this is what pisses me off more than anything else about fucking Christians in the United States that are supporting this shit. They don't realize that there are a lot of fucking Christian Palestinians too. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
They don't care that, oh, they're slaughtering Christians too. As long as it's Israel doing it, they don't give a fuck. So,
Well,
like, fuck off, guys. Fuck off with your righteous anger because you don't have any fucking righteous anger about fucking anything.
I think if we're going to go on most Americans, I think you could show an Israeli man to most Americans and they would think it was a Muslim because
Yeah.
that's how they judge things. And we don't have to even get into the details. Everybody knows exactly why. Uh,
Hmm.
the And I've always found it funny, like not funny, but odd that even going back to the Iraq War, there was this like, oh well, we're fighting Muslims,
Hmm.
and it's like
No.
that's a religion. That's not like
Yeah.
Muslim isn't a race.
I mean,
Like you're trying to be racist and you
and
failing because it's a religion.
here's the thing. Here's the thing that pisses me off about all of that. And regardless, and this is completely regardless of Bush's intentions, but one thing that a lot of people forget is that Bush literally came out like a day or two after 9/11. It was whenever he went to Ground Zero and basically said, "This is not against Muslims. This is against terrorists." And regardless of what he did and said and shit afterwards, but the thing is a lot of people fucking forgot that it was about the terrorists. It wasn't about the religion because there. Me personally, yes, I am extremely anti-theist. I don't like Christianity. I don't like Islam. I don't like any of it. But the thing is I know plenty of Muslims who are completely peaceful who are like, this shit is fucked up. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's one of those things that it just shows people's bigotry to no end. Even though, like, yes, I do not like the religion, but do I have a personal problem with a neighbor of mine who may or may not be Muslim? No, I don't care. As long as they keep it to themselves, they can believe whatever the hell they want. As long as they keep it to themselves and don't shove it down other people's throat, what the hell do I care? It's not
Yeah.
affecting my life.
Yeah. I mean the conversation about the Muslim, the conversation about Islam is a completely different thing. And I don't care, anymore that someone practices Islam than I do Christianity or any other religion, whatever. That's that it's it's a thing. I don't care. I care about the actions that people take, right? Like, I've back since I first started live streaming, I've quoted Stephanie Helms, which she didn't come up with this. It's just something she used to say a lot, and I would say it too. Is that I don't care what you believe. I care about what you do, and
Yeah,
and what you do with that belief specifically. And I think that's important context when it comes to that issue.
yeah,
The so the reason we're having this conversation is I'm trying to get a bigger picture of what's going on across the entire Middle East and what
hmm,
it is, what goals they're trying to reach. Netanyahu has shown that he's only pleased with wiping an entire group of people off the map. Um, and
yeah,
now we are attacking Iran to his pleasure. Uh, I guess we won't stop until he's pleased with it.
yeah.
And
I mean, it's one of those things that it's just like people who think that this is not that this is just about Iran having quote quote unquote having nuclear weapons or being state sponsored terrorism or whatever the fuck you want to say. Like, it's not. Because there's a reason why they're also turning around and attacking all of their fucking neighbors. Basically, like, it all goes back to religion. Like, there's a reason Saudi Arabia
Oh,
does not like Iran at all.
yeah.
It's just like, holy, oh, God. Like, this shit just gets so fucking bonkers. It's like, can we leave this fucking Iron Age shit there and just, like, move on with humanity? Like, ugh. Religion causes so many issues.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it's.
Well, I think that. Hold on. Um, I think that whenever we look at what happened in go back to October 7th. So
Mhm.
while these things have been going on for thousands of years, well, like 1500 years in the case of the Muslims, I suppose. Um, the Muslim religion is rather young. It's not it doesn't have the long lengthy history that others have. And I said 1500 years. That's not even correct either. The you know if you look at Christianity, like in the early days of Christianity, you have the Crusades, which is kind of similar to what has went on with Islam, right? Where they, pretty much just murdered everybody who didn't believe the same things they did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes any of this okay. What all I'm getting at is that we see a repeat of some of the things that Christianity has done as well.
Yeah.
The When we go back to October 7th, though, the while I don't think that you can start there and explain this whole thing, I do think that was definitely the event that kicked this off. Kicked off this part of it anyway. Um, Now, was is anybody justified in continuing it to the extent they have? No. Um, I think that you have to realize that in this this is a religious war, and or at least a war because of religious disagreements.
Mhm.
And then you have, like, to the extent that Netanyahu has taken this, that Israel has taken this to committing a genocide, indiscriminately bombing civilians. Um, the you know, I don't disagree that Israel had a right to protect itself, to try and retrieve its hostages, to
Yeah.
strike back. Even I don't argue that all they could do that, but
Yeah.
how they did that was, oh, look, there might be some Hamas people in there with the Palestinians and the churches and hospitals and everything, so we're just going to bomb the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I just said, I mean, it should have taken 2 weeks and him four special forces teams, and they would have been done
Yeah,
if they
they
were
they act like,
actually fucking serious. But they're
yeah,
not.
they want you to believe that they don't have the ability to go in and do these precision strikes on individuals, and they do. Um, the the pager thing was kind of clever, with the Hamas people. Um,
Yeah,
it,
Hezbollah.
yeah, yeah. My bad. It was,
I mean, yeah,
but
and I mean, no,
it showed they have an ability to creatively, um, target the people they wanted want to target without
Yeah.
bombing whole, sectors of a city, right? Like
Yeah.
they have other options. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, they absolutely have other options. And I mean, the Israeli government has kept the Palestinians on the absolute tightest of like basically the absolute tightest of leashes for fucking years and years at this point, to where they're keeping it. They have, basically kept there where they don't necessarily have the power they need. They don't necessarily have the water they need. They don't have the aid they need. Kept them on the verge of economic collapse. I mean, they've basically been mistreating the Palestinians for fucking years. And there's a
Oh
map
yeah.
that I saw that showed even pre World War II, where it showed Jewish settlements versus Palestine, and then once Israel became a country, and basically you see it completely swap to where now there's like very, very few Palestinian settlements because Israel's taking over everything. And the thing is like, what fucking claim does Israel have to the land? They fucking don't. Like, I'm sorry, you guys got kicked out of there, you know, a couple thousand years ago. Like, it's one of those things that you can't. They're sitting there and claiming that it's their land based on a religious idea that is an Iron Age idea. That it's just. I mean, nobody's sitting here arguing that they don't have a right to exist, because, like, obviously they do and all that stuff, but they don't have a right to treat the Palestinians the way they have treated them for years.
Yeah.
And so,
Right. Right. No, that's. I agree completely. The I'm just the only picture I'm trying to show here is that they do have other options available to them, and they have the ability,
yeah.
even in that extreme example, to target the people they want to target. Um, and instead, though, they have bombed civilians on purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the UN had already declared Israel an apartheid state before any of this started, because of their treatment of the Palestinians.
Yeah.
So so this then progresses into what is now the war with Iran. So eventually, right, there's lots of other things that happen along the way where, the Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis and all that stuff, and then Israel starts bombing everybody over there, and attacks Iran. They bomb back. They do that whole thing, and then this is this has kind of been going on off and on, in this part of the war, since the October 7th event. This has been going on back and forth, and Netanyahu eventually talks Trump into getting in on the attacking
Yeah.
Iran, for his reasons. So in that sense, the United States joined what had started as a holy war anyway. Um, and
Yeah.
then the you have people in the United States, media and everybody, trying every which way through different forms of propaganda to say things, like they're bringing Jesus back and all that stuff. I don't think
Yeah.
it was an accident that story about the military happened,
No.
because now, like with the thing you sent me yesterday, right,
Mm-hmm.
where Trump's invoking Jesus for his passing his bill and all that
He's
stuff.
desperate.
Um, if that stuff, if it ends up not true, let's, they say it's not true. We'll just go with that. It's not true. Then why not the attitude that they give to the rest of left wing media and everybody else? They want to shut them down, sentence people to
Mm-hmm.
death, take away people's rights, all that
Yep.
stuff. With this, though, they're just like, oh no, that's not true. And they move on. Because even though it's not true, it plants a seed that they plan to take advantage of
Yeah.
later.
And I mean, yeah, there's that. And then, like I've said before, I mean, there was shit like this floating around during the Iraq War, and there's no reason to think that it would not be, at least on some level, floating around on this one. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know that the clip was in regard to this to passing the Save Act. There was also another tweet that I saw today in regards to the Save Act that basically, I think it was Mike Lee, basically admitted that they were going to lose the midterms if they didn't pass the Save Act. Save Act's not getting passed. Like, it's just not. So, like,
Yeah, they don't have the votes.
Trump is trying his damnedest to fall back on religion because he knows at this point the only people who are supporting his ass are the absolutely insane Christian nationalists at this point. Those are pretty much the only people who are supporting him, and anybody who is not a Christian nationalist, which we know a couple that still support him. Like, I'm sorry, but like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but there's no logical reason I can understand that.
Right. So,
By the way, what's wrong with the fucking Save Act? One of the things is any fucking woman who has changed her name because she got married would not be able to vote, which you can say goodbye to all the Republican women votes in that point. So, have fun with that.
yeah. Well, so the uh Joe Cool is here. Joe is not cool. Not me, by the
Joe
way.
is not cool.
That's you. Uh the so Joe, I'll address you here. So you're all about any kind of law about guns violates the Second Amendment because it says you have the right to bear arms. But when it comes to voting, you're like, what's wrong with the Save Act? The Constitution says that you have the right to vote if you're an American citizen. It doesn't say if you do all these other things. So I really think that your your position is not consistent
Hypocrite.
with your argument. Um,
Hypocrite.
you apply that to one amendment, the second, but not the 14th, 15th. Which one is this?
Yeah,
The 14th. I think it's the
14.
14th. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, and here's the thing: the fucking Heritage Foundation
yeah,
did a study on it. Since I want to say it's either 1980 or 1984, one of the two. 40 fucking years. You know how many cases of non-citizens voting they found? Fucking 99. Not 9,900, not 99,000. 90 fucking 9. Over 40 fucking years. So miss me with that fucking bullshit. That
yeah.
is your guys saying that this shit does not happen.
The it's not just an ID though, Joe. You're it's not just an ID. It's lots of other things. And so do you want to argue that if you don't have an ID, you no longer have the right to vote? Because that's not what the
And
Constitution
and
says.
also the reason why women would not be able to vote is because the name on your ID has to match the name on your birth certificate.
Yeah.
And the law specifically says that a marriage license does not override that.
You have to have a passport.
Not even then. Like,
Oh.
it would be really difficult for that. Yeah, like, so you can kiss all women voting goodbye, which, I mean, granted, yeah, there's not just a ton of women that vote Republican, or at least there's not a ton that should, but still, you're going to miss out on all those Republican, I mean, you're going to miss out on Kristi Noem's vote, so,
Yeah. Maybe
and
you can
fucking Laura Loomer's.
maybe you can explain to me the difference of where you think that any law about guns infringes on the Second Amendment, but infringing on the 14th Amendment is somehow different.
Go
Um,
look it up, dude.
I don't. You don't have to buy it. You're the one with the bad position, not me. Um, the uh, I mean, look at what it asks for, and explain to me the difference between that and your position on firearms, because there isn't one. There isn't a difference.
Tell me, Joe, have you actually read the bill? I doubt you have. I have.
Just for just to just so we can oh boy. Uh Let me just for fun here. Let's pull it up and see what it says. Uh So we'll go. I've got the entire bill here, but
There's a ton. There's tons of analysis on people who have read it and condensed it for readability. Yeah, like there's a reason why a lot of Congress people don't read the fucking bills because they're fucking long and fucking boring as shit. I happen to be a political junkie and a geek, so I tend to read. I tend to read them.
no, Joe. We've had the conversation about the guns, and
There's
I'm
limits on free
asking you.
speech, you dumbass.
I'm asking you about your contradictory position. That okay, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility uh, America Act requires voters provide documentary proof of citizenship at the time of registration and a photo ID at the time of voting. It was passed by the U.S. House. Blah blah blah. Both parties agree that voter registration should permit all eligible citizens and only eligible citizens to register
Which
to vote
nobody's
in
arguing
federal
with.
elections, although instances of non citizen registration and voting are rare. The Save America
Extremely.
Act's goal, ensuring that only citizens can register to vote, is important, but there are easier, more cost effective ways, blah, blah, blah. All right. Um, Citizenship is already a requirement to vote, and instances of non citizen voting are almost zero.
You know
Many
why?
eligible, yeah, yeah.
Because the
Many eligible
consequences
citizens,
for it are so high. It's like
yeah.
five. It's like 5 years for someone voting who can't. Like nobody's going to risk
It's
5 years in fucking prison for
yeah.
one fucking vote. Are you insane?
There's been just under 100 cases of voter fraud in the last like decade, and those were all prosecuted. So yeah. Many eligible citizens don't have access to documentary or proof of citizenship. So it's not if you're a citizen now, which is what the Constitution says. It's if you can prove you're a citizen, no matter whether you've voted before or proved your citizenship in other ways, or all those things. Um, there are better ways to verify citizenship that put responsibility on the government, not voters, right? So that's the big thing, right? The government can determine our citizenship without doing all that, and they're not going to do it that way though, because they want to make it harder for people to vote. This uh, so let's see. Citizenship is already a requirement to vote. All right. Um, let's see. Uh, federal data shows that very few voter verification cases are returned as non-citizen. Um, of all the people that have ever registered to vote, up to August of 2025, 96% of them have been American citizens. 3% have been deceased. 0.5% are non citizens. Uh, oh, non definitive response, locate record, more information. Okay, my bad. I did that wrong. 3% they were unable to locate a record or information and required more verification. 0.5% were deceased. 0.04% were non citizen. So you're talking about nothing. Every person that has ever been a non-citizen and managed to vote could vote in any election, no matter how close, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what this is about. Uh,
Yeah.
oh, you want to know about better ways? Okay, we can
You know
do
what's a
that.
better way for voter fraud? Gerrymandering, voter suppression, which last I checked, the Republicans were doing in droves, so you can fuck off with that nonsense.
So there's better ways to do it. Front end verification, where the burden is on the voter to prove their citizenship, providing documentary proof to a state or local official. This is the approach that the Save Act takes. Back end verification, which would be a better way, is where election or other government officials, such as those as the Department of Motor Vehicles, consult existing government data to verify voter citizenship. That's it. It's easily done. They have these records. They're accessible in every state. There's no reason for them not to just be able to check and see if you're a citizen. Because you already have to have photo ID to register to vote. So
Hmm.
they could easily check this without doing all that.
And a lot of states already have real ID, which you already have to have a birth certificate to prove. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a real ID to fly in the U.S. So,
Um, Citizenship is already a requirement for you to be able to vote, and 0.04% of votes in the last decade were non-citizens. Um, so why would we go to such lengths to make people have birth certificates that match and passports and all this other stuff to prove their citizenship?
hmm.
Gerrymandering. Wow. Tell me you don't know anything about gerrymandering. How many
How about
seats does
this? How about you
Cali
learn to
lose?
spell it first? Because that ain't
How
the way
many
you spell it.
seats does Cali lose without migrant census?
Here's the thing with that is it doesn't say anything about needing to be a citizen to be counted because the thing is that laws in the US still affect you no matter what.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, the only reason they did that is because Texas tried to do it.
Yeah.
And the
So
difference is that Texas straight up said, yes, this is partisan. We are doing it so we can get votes. And there was no sunset provision. There is a sunset provision on it in California. So once again, miss me with that bullshit. Try harder, dude. Learn what you're talking about before you open your mouth.
the so yeah, and she's right because whenever the way that representatives work is that that representative goes to Congress in order to make laws for their district. That representative represents that district, okay? And the people are the constituents. If there are migrants there, that congressman still needs to be able to make laws, whether it be something to do with you know whether they're going to deport people or whatever it is. That hurts your position actually by making that argument because they need to be able to make laws based on that. And also the census data and stuff to do with this has nothing to do with anything because non-citizens are not voting. Um, I don't know, you know, if we went right now and let's say we went and fixed the gerrymandering problem. We went and just we made the maps fair.
Oh,
We split
fucking
them up into
crybabies. Fuck off, bitch. You're the one that's got 30% approval, please.
gobblies. Golly. We're bullies
Please, honey.
now.
Oh, yeah. My dog even thinks you're a fucking crybaby. Come on, dude.
Well, what I don't understand that you're saying here is why does that map matter to you so much about the migrants when they're not voting? Because it's not migrants that are electing those people. Why is that a problem for you? I'll concede that you can't read. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, back to having the adult conversation. Uh, the Save Act, the whole purpose of it is, and they've said this out loud too, is that it'll prevent people from voting because the less number of people that vote, the is the only chance that Republicans have to win. Republicans electoral votes. Yeah,
The Electoral
but the
College needs to be
people who vote
abolished.
in that district are still voting, are still citizens. Even okay, even if it has a heavily weighted electoral votes, they're still voting for Democrats. The I don't understand your argument. I guess you don't think
Is there an
California
argument
should
there?
have as many electoral votes as it has? Is that what you're saying? Because there's migrants there? Is that we should take away some of California's electoral votes? How many would you like to take?
Because it's
Because
based on population.
yeah, unfortunately for you,
Th-
the laws in
yeah.
this country apply to everyone, not just citizens.
This is a problem with the electoral map whenever you see it, where there's like a huge swath of the country that's red and like there's areas that are blue. That is a
Yeah.
map of land area, not of population.
Yeah. So yeah, let's resist oppression.
You're
Let's
in the
go to popular
minority,
vote.
just accept it.
Would you like to switch it to the popular vote to where the person that gets the most votes wins?
Please, dear
Hell
God.
no, you don't want that. Trump is the first Republican to win the popular vote in quite some time.
Yeah.
All right. So the Save Act. Back to this. The so these requirements would they purposely, and they've said this out loud, that it would purposely um, keep some Americans from voting. The Constitution says Americans have a right to vote.
Mm.
So which are we going to go with? Like, which one's better?
I,
Because if you want to say that we should exclude people, Americans, who can't, have a passport and matching birth certificate and, go get their blood taken and take a lie detector test and whatever, like whatever things you want to put there. If you're excluding Americans, you're violating the rights of those Americans. Are you not?
mm-hmm. I mean,
I,
I think among a lot of conservatives, the Constitution is a cherry picked idea that they like only what they want to out of it.
yeah.
Like, it's free speech, but only for us. Because if only we can sit there and say we're glad Robert Mueller died. But if you say anything whatsoever about Charlie Kirk, you lose your job over it. Like, fuck off with that shit.
I just, okay, Joseph. First of all, no state has that kind of majority migrants.
That's
Um,
larger than
it's
the
it's
population of the US.
it's
What
it's a
the
little
fuck?
it's a little bit it's a little bit of an absurd thing, and if we were in that situation, I would agree with you. There's things to look at there, but we're not. We're talking about immigrants making up 0.04% of voting. Um, the if we had this majority population of migrants, then then I would argue that those migrants should be able to vote then, because they're the ones that the government would represent. Um, do you not agree with that? Because what it the let's look at the other side of this coin, right?
You're
So
absurd on
in your
purpose.
hypothetical,
Please.
if you have 4 million migrants, 95%, then it shouldn't be the 5% that determines the elected officials anyway. It should be the 95% if we're a democratic republic. So in that case, those migrants should be counted to represent the people that are in that district. It's not the thing is that it's not required. I'm fine with doing that though. Like, let's not count the migrants. Okay, let's just not. Let's not count the
You
migrants.
are a dumb fuck, Joseph. You really fucking are if you think that's what we're saying. Fuck off. Seriously. Like, holy shit, dude. Learn some comprehension, please.
Yes. In your hypothetical, non-citizens should vote because you made them 95% of the population. I'm not arguing non-citizens should vote on, in any situation. I'm arguing in favor of the Constitution, which says all Americans have the right to vote.
Yeah.
Your argument doesn't work no matter how you make it, because there's just not enough of them. They're not having the effect that you're saying they're having. Let's take all the migrants out of the whole country, right? Let's
Can I
Trump's wet dream. They're all the brown people are gone.
let
All
me say
right.
something. First off, you have not seen me pissed off. Seth can tell you what I look like when I'm pissed off. This is fucking fun for me. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we just like dunking on you, really.
Yeah.
The
This is entertainment.
so let's play the other hypothetical, right? All the migrants are gone. All the maps are fair. They're all, nobody's being discriminated against by the maps. All the maps are fair. You still lose. Like, it's Unless Americans don't vote, Republicans don't win. That is what this is about. They have admitted it out loud. Trump has said multiple times that he doesn't want people to vote. I just don't. I don't know
Yeah,
how that makes
they
sense.
don't want. The thing is, the Republicans don't want Americans to vote because here's the thing: the more people that vote, the more the elections go blue. Every fucking time.
Yes, non-citizens don't vote, average Joe. They don't vote. What I just
If you
gave you
think
the
they do,
statistic.
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
sorry,
you want to
but
know where that statistic came from too? Because it wasn't a Democratic source. Uh, so non-citizens are not voting. In the last decade, all the votes 0.04. What do you think that changes? And they were caught and prosecuted for it, by the way. Those votes were not counted. That's how they made it there. Your argument just doesn't make any sense. And it's fine that you want to support, you know, the pedophile party or whatever, but like the the argument you're making here about this thing, how do you decide that Republican and let me put this on screen. This is worth putting on screen. Republicans will be winning in the future more than you think. Most people can see through the BS of the far left. Why are their approval numbers so low? Because the BS that's being so Americans don't approve overwhelmingly don't approve of the Republicans' take on the economy, especially on the war. They really hate that. Um, they
mm,
they don't like the their um, immigration stance.
yeah.
Would you like to pick any policy of the Republican Party that a majority of Americans support? Pick one.
Let
I'll
me
wait.
also. This one made me laugh. Yeah, from my chat.
Yeah.
um, it. Let me just give you an example of how fucking bonkers their immigration policy is. I had a friend on DACA. She had been brought over here when she was 2 by her mother. Her mother had passed away. She had no idea what her family name was, no idea where her family was from in her home country, nothing. In last March, she got picked up and deported within 2 days. They stole $4,000 from her, stole her wedding ring, her engagement ring, and literally anything of value she had, including her cell phone, her laptop, all of that. Didn't get any of it back. They literally dumped her at the airport. She didn't even have any papers on her.
Hey,
And
Joe.
she was here
Sorry.
legally.
Yeah. Hey, Joe. Just tell me, give me a source, and we'll go look at them.
Yeah, name your
What
source, dude.
reputable poll has approval numbers in favor of any Republican policy? Any policy. Again, I'll wait. You don't have to go look it up. Let's face it, that doesn't exist among any reputable poll. Now you may find some bullshit on Facebook or something like that says the thing, but go to the source of whatever that is and give me a source for that poll, and we'll look at it and see what's going on with it. Um, Lil, you carry things real quick, and I will pull up all of the polling for both
Check out
sides.
Rasmussen's polls because they're
Rasmussen.
known to lean very,
Yeah.
yeah, they're known to lean very, very, very Republican, and they even have Trump underwater on just about fucking everything. He's underwater on the fucking economy, for Christ's sake. I mean, he's fucking underwater on Everything. And yeah, if you have the numbers, prove it. Show them. Because guess what? They're not there, and you're pulling them out of your ass. That's where you're getting them from.
Rasmussen, Republican polling agency, has him down 19 points. That's for Trump. Let's look at the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm. The fact is that
14.9% underwater.
so
Oh, I have all the.
where's this? Oh, where's it? Where's all this like huge Republican support? Oh, yeah, it doesn't fucking exist.
Most mainstream media has the numbers approving. Okay, let's look at all the
Prove
numbers
it.
because I have them all.
Oh,
I have even the little itty bitty polls.
there is one where Trump's like 100% of Americans agree with me on the war in Iran. Blah blah blah. What he's citing is a CNN poll that basically polled only MAGA. Only MAGA. Not everybody else.
So I will drop this link in chat too, so you can see what I'm looking at.
Be sure to drop it in both of them. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll put it over there. So I don't know how well you can see this, but I've given you the link. What this is Republican Party favorability. The average is negative 14. Quinnipiac down 18. Yahoo down 18. NBC down 14. CBS down 26. Daily Mail down 10. Marquette down 14. Wall Street Journal down 11. EconomistU.gov down 19. Fox News down 19.
Fox News.
Then we go into there's one poll here. Houston, Republican Party favorability is a tie. Imagine that. With all of these others deep underwater. So how do you look? We've got
Show your fucking
negative
numbers.
14, negative 18, negative 14, negative 26, negative 24, negative 19. Let's scroll down. Negative 20, negative 16, negative 17, negative. See all those reds on there?
Hmm.
They're all
It's
they're all underwater. Now,
it's almost like Average Joe is
I
full
don't
of
know what.
shit.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
seems like maybe you pulled that out of your ass, buddy. Like, what are we doing?
Hmm.
I'm having problems with my. Let me see if this fixes it. Uh,
It can be screw it.
that didn't fix it either. I was
That
actually
was
trying to
about
fix something
the
by the way. It just
that
happened that it
was
was that one. I was trying to fix something.
that was so appropriate though. Oh my god.
There are tons of them, and none of them seem to agree. Those all agreed that
Hmm.
the Republican Party is unfavorable and Trump is very unfavorable. They all agreed on that. So, what are you? What are you?
How's
You're
your
just
gas
wrong. That's just
prices,
not
dude?
true. I just showed that you're full of shit. Like
Oh yeah,
again,
you never
it's
trust the polls. Yeah,
if
sure.
yeah.
Except when they're
I
in your
mean,
favor, then you do. But they're not in
okay.
your favor, so.
You just argued that the polls that you look at say different. I asked for which ones you look at, and now it's I don't trust the polls. Which is it? Say that you're
It's
sorry. I just
whatever the fuck he thinks works for him.
look. The truth of the matter is that it's not popular with the American people. Period. That's it.
Hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, but to sit here and deny reality isn't going to change that.
Take the L, dude. Just take the L.
So, the most Republican leaning polling agency, Rasmussen, here we've broke down the polling by day. Disapproval ratings, all he's in the negative every day.
Every day.
He's in the negative. Oh wait, back on September 30th, 2025, he hit 48%.
Bitch, you're in our chat. We can insult you all we want.
Disapproval.
You're in our chat.
48% disapproval. Let me be clear.
You're the one who's choosing to be here.
Huh?
Oh, he's bitching about uh
His
yeah, about him giving his opinion. He's in our chat. Like, you don't have to be here. You can go watch somebody else. Go watch Tucker Carlson. You don't have to be here.
so and that 48% is his disapproval rating. His approval rating has never broken 50% ever. So it's just not true. Um, you stand corrected, sir. Uh, the I don't know,
Kind
and
of
this is the
sucks.
thing I don't get. Like, you can like whatever you want. You can like the deportation of brown people. You can like the racist and xenophobic policies and the taking people's rights away. You can like all those things if you want. You don't have to
Hmm.
sit here and try to argue that the demonstrable facts don't state what they state, though. Like, you don't have to do
Yeah,
that. You can say,
yeah.
hey, I'm for stepping on people's voting rights because I want my party to win so we can be more racist. You can say that. It's okay. We know what the Republican Party is. We're all aware.
And see, here's the thing. Here's the difference between us and you guys. We will admit when we are wrong. If we are proven wrong, we'll say, yeah, we were wrong. You guys can't do that.
Brown people, why do you guys say that? Because what ICE does is
That's
they
how
go and
you
they
are programmed.
target brown people and they arrest them and then later find out they're actually citizens. That's what. And the uh, immigration policies. Hey, Kurt, good to see you. Um, the immigration policies of the United States only apply to those countries where the brown people come from. It's okay for the
Hmm.
white Afrikaners and the people from Europe to come. He's said this over and over. It's only the
Yeah.
countries with brown people where they're like, none of those, you know? So
Hmm.
that's why we say that.
Yeah.
You doing all right, Kurt? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Uh,
Hello.
anyway,
Yeah,
and
they
and
absolutely target brown people. How many people have they had to release because they found out that they were either here illegally or fucking citizens? A lot.
yeah, yeah, war veterans that they've deported, Purple Heart recipients. Uh, that this is what you support, right? Untrained agents going into cities. I'll even take out the word murder. American citizens are ending up dead in the street. People are being arrested that are citizens and deported. War vets are being deported because we have untrained people doing the job. So, what about what you? This is what you support, correct?
Yeah.
Been here
Yeah.
on the
Of
TV where
course
you
it.
don't. Feel free to holler at me anytime, Kurt. I love talking to you. Uh, the you know and again, it's like the stated values, the things that are so. Let me start over. The Republican Party is the party of the dog whistle, first of all, right? Like
Oh yeah.
that is their thing. Not that Democrats haven't been guilty of it too. I'm not saying that, but it's kind of like the go-to thing for the Republican Party. They say one thing, they mean another.
Hmm.
What policy would you like to? What policy would you like to wholeheartedly support here of the Republican Party? You give me a policy, and I will explain to you the problem with it.
Yeah. Except for the fat tea's timed out for 5 minutes. Sorry, he has to listen to this bitch for another 5 minutes. Boo hoo.
Yeah, yeah. Is it racism? Are we going to play that game?
Yeah, probably. They're gonna
I
cry.
we tried out the trivia stuff before the show started. I can pull it up. We can do is it racism? Uh, the I tell you what, Joe. Go donate $10 to the art protest, and I'll leave you alone for a minute.
Make it
Or
20.
or uh, you know what we used to do. We used to let people be like, hey, if you donate $5 or $10, whatever the case was that day, we will time this person out for 24 hours, and you could vote people off the island. Uh,
Maybe we should bring that back.
yeah, we can just let you guys fight it out in chat. The
Jed does a pretty damn good job as is.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. Just to be clear, I'm just saying we used to. We used to do that with who's the person we used to do that to? Aunt Jur, if you're still there. Um, the lady. The lady. There's Big John asking for $5 as usual. Um, the oh the religious lady that had 5 kids, and me and her got into it several times, and I ended up finally blocking her when she was on here calling atheist Nazis. What is her name? Blessed be. That's it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. I've run into her a few times.
This whole everything is
It it
racism,
it
everything is
it,
offensive.
it cracks me up when people call me, of all people, either a Nazi or anti-Semitic, and I'm like, bitch, you don't know me. You don't know what I do at all.
The I'm so to be clear, Kurt. I'm not saying everything. The problem with everything is racism. I think that is a problem. Um, I'm saying he could give me the policy, and I'll give him the problem with it, whether it violates the Constitution or whatever it may be. Like, what policy do you support? You the stuttering again. The right wingers that show up in chat will come here and they'll say the Democrats are awful. The left is awful. We see their bullshit. The radical left, the far left, and whatever thing. Talking about saying brown people. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I, I think regardless of how people feel about it, the point can be made. Oh, geez, that wasn't a word.
I'm Texan. I think I need to put
Um,
like a little Texas or something like in the corner here just to show that I'm Texan and not from Kentucky.
yeah. You're an honorary Kentuckian now. The what?
Nobody is doing sex change for minors. Are you a fucking idiot? Holy shit!
Go
Oh my
from
god.
Go find the statistics on how many of those are occurring, Joseph. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Toodles.
Yeah. Go get me the numbers of how many of those have occurred in the last, what do you want to do? 5 years, 10 years, 2 years? Pick a number. Go find me the statistics that it's not just a talking point. You're going to run into a problem. But go ahead.
Yeah, just a bit. I mean, it's one of these things that these people want to sit there and they want to complain about all this shit, and they
Yeah.
are allergic to fact checking. That's it. They're allergic to fact checking. They cannot handle it. They cannot do it. And they are absolute proof that just because you're an atheist does not mean that you can't be fucking stupid. So, yeah.
So while minors do receive gender affirming care because that is based on a diagnosis by a doctor, you don't get to tell doctors what they can diagnose. Gender affirming care is a thing that minors receive. Minors are not having sex changes, buddy. They're just not.
Didn't Frank Turk have gender affirming care?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did.
Most cases of
Hmm.
gender affirming care in minors are related to a medical issue as well, not just like they're trans or whatever your argument is. Most of these cases are like they have breast reductions because they have a problem, a medical problem because of that. They have some sort of medical problem related to it, and things like things like you know there's lots of things that fall under gender affirming care that don't have to do with the other thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amber's here. Amber can share all that information with you. No, you don't have any sources is the thing, Joe. It's not that you don't carry your sources with you. It's that you repeat the stupid fucking things you hear instead of basing it on actual facts. That's the problem. So you go and you say the dog whistle thing we just talked about instead of
You're not too
actually
busy for it. You're too lazy for it. Get a
ever going and
break.
looking anything up. You don't look any of it up. You just repeat stupid shit that's wrong. You've done it over and over during this show now.
Yeah.
You,
I am
you're an atheist.
incredibly.
You're an
I am.
atheist, right? You understand people making unfounded claims. You get that, right? That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I am incredibly busy. You can ask anybody that knows me. And you know what? I still have my sources. And I still have them at my fingertips. Why? Because I fucking prepare for shit.
Look, I understand that my methods and my ways are a little crude for some people, and for other people, especially those, on the autism spectrum, I drive them nuts with some of the things I do here. Like, I understand why there's people out there that don't like the way that I do shit and don't watch my show and whatever. Like, it's cool. I don't mind any of that. But to come here and to constantly just talk out your fucking ass only to be proven wrong, like, and
Talk out
then
your
walk
ass and
away
you get
from it
shit.
in denial that you were even wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, I really can't understand. This is why I have such a problem with having conversations with, number one, theists anymore. I don't even fuck with them anymore, and number two, um, MAGA or whatever you want to call them, because we can't agree on the simple terms of reality because you insist that these things happen and exist that just don't. Like, the the thing about the sex changes, that's just as about as reasonable as the claims of a god. Like, it's just
Yeah.
not a thing.
you talk out of your ass and you spew shit. That's what happens. And then you get pissed off when you get called out on it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, man, I'm
Keep it
willing
up,
to
buddy.
sit here. Look, whenever, of course, I did it in kind of a smug asshole way where I'm saying, give me any policy, and I'll tell you what's wrong with it. But I'm serious. Tell me the real reasons that you support these things. We'll talk about why that reason doesn't fit, and if we can agree to the reality of the situation, I think we can demonstrate that that's not the real reason that you support these things.
Hmm. Pretty much.
There you go. Ember's putting sources up for you there. Go do that. And speaking of Ember, Lil, you want to play the thing?
Yes,
If
I
it's not too
do.
difficult.
I do not think it is. Um,
Since we
let me
have,
find it.
I think now's the perfect time to play it.
Oh wait, hang on. Uh, uh,
I refuse to debate you because there was nothing to debate.
ta-da!
In
Okay.
2024, NASA researcher Rachel Lenz gave the world a flag made from NASA images for Pride Month. On January 20th, 2025, the incoming U.S. administration ordered that Artistic Union of Science and Civil Rights deleted. So I tracked down the original images it was made from, recreated it, and then added even more wonders of the cosmos to update the flag to the current, more inclusive form. On the anniversary of the inauguration, I released it. And it went viral several times. Now you can get a physical copy of that artwork as a full-sized flag or a large sticker, as well as space artworks of the other Pride flags: lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, ace, and new flags being added all the time. Get one for yourself or give them as gifts and celebrate Pride, celebrate science, celebrate resistance, and help support a creator fighting for human rights for all humans. Head to astralpride.com and use code LIL at checkout for an exclusive offer. In 2024, NASA researcher...
All right. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, shush. I need to get better at this. But you can use promo code LIL for $1 off stickers. You can use TKA for discount on the flags. So
All right.
you can use both of ours.
There you go. Go buy you a pride flag, Joe. Question from before that didn't get published. Joe, why did you refuse to debate me about ICE? I know I could have shown you wrong, but you refused. Instead, you misrepresented someone else's video. So first of all, I'm going to work my way backwards through this. You're speaking about the video that I did a response to angry cops. I literally played his video and responded to the things that he said in the video. So how did I misrepresent his video? I didn't. It wasn't a dry response. I showed it and then responded. And if you would like to specifically point out where I misrepresented him, I'll even take a look at it. And if I did misrepresent him in some way, I'll correct that. Now, to the other thing, you didn't want to debate about ICE. You wanted to debate about whether or not the shooting of Renee Good was justified. Um,
And
there's
Alice
nothing to
Preddy.
debate. And I don't want to sit and play the murder of a mom over and over and over to have a discussion with you that goes nowhere about nothing because there's nothing to debate. The very handbook that the DHS has on the thing says that they're not to even mess with moving vehicles. Don't fire your gun at a moving vehicle. So, over. It was wrong. Now, that being said, also, almost, well, I'll put it this way. Every forensic breakdown of that video that was honest anyway, um, shows that she was turning away from him. He was not in any danger. He actually leaned forward towards the car at first. This has all been broken down, and the her death was a homicide. Like, that's
Prove he
there.
lied, bitch.
Yeah, there's nothing to debate about it. Now, if you want to come and have a discussion about ISIS tactics or whatever, like some broader discussion that doesn't require that I play a person dying over and over and over, and I don't care if that person's even a Republican, I don't want to. That's just not something I want to do on this channel, okay? And I explained that to you.
He would know, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Now the second shooting was fucking straight up like murder. That was bad. Um, the only argument that I've heard about that they keep making is, well, a couple days ago he was being violent, attacked the vehicle and all this other stuff. Like, that doesn't mean you get to come out 2 days later and shoot him in the street. So debate done. Those are my points. You can do what you want with them. You can not agree with them. It doesn't matter because you're wrong.
Practically wrong.
I'm not willing
Wrong
to
on
set
every
and
level.
play. I'm not willing to set and have to play the murder of someone over and over and over just for you to be wrong at the end of the day. It's just not worth doing to me. Um, I have a problem with doing that. I don't know why you can't respect that problem, but I don't wish to play somebody's death over and over and over for your entertainment. It's just not. It's just not something I want to do. Was that a good enough explanation for you, Lil? Like,
Yeah, and there's also one thing I would add. This is his fucking channel. He gets to decide what's on it, not you.
yeah, I you know I don't care to explain my position on things or talk about some policy or whatever, even on things that I think you're wrong about. I mean, we did the whole gun thing. Like, I don't think there was really anything to talk about there. And I think that I demonstrated in that conversation that your position was highly flawed. Um,
Your mic cut out a little bit.
that's okay. But I don't care to sit and have those talks about policies or whether this thing infringes on the Constitution or whether it's legal or whatever. Like, you said the other day that Trump hasn't broken the law, but 100 and some courts have decided that he has. Judges appointed by him that the things he's doing are illegal. So whenever you argue those things, I don't care to have the talk where I say, well, this happened, like, it is illegal because the definition is that the court
Yeah.
determined it's illegal. That's how we do that. So it is objectively illegal. Um, the You can not like that and still support those things and whatever you like. But the problem is that whenever you want to argue about things that are not rooted in reality, that's the problem.
Yeah. Your mic's cutting out a little bit.
And you get
FYI.
whenever you admit that you made them up, and I'll debate you on anything. Um, but I'm also going to ask why supporting a party of pedophiles and pedophile protectors isn't a deal breaker for you. That's what I'm going to ask. And I'm going to expect that you answer that question.
Yeah.
So, there we go.
You support pedophiles. Sorry. And wasn't it Ted Cruz that says we need to stop attacking pedophiles? Which is a member of your party. So, there
Yeah,
is that.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree hardcore on that.
I just, this has been the hole that I've dug for myself now. Just so you understand, the I don't I don't have anything to talk about with theists anymore. There's nothing to discuss. The creation, like, I'm getting ready to do the art protest thing, and I may, for the sake of promoting it, end up interacting with some creationists, because that's kind of what I did last year in the lead up to it, just to keep the topic, going.
Yeah.
So there may be some of that, but, like, I don't even make atheist content anymore because it's ridiculous. It's
I mean,
it has the absurdity point has been reached to where, like, we've heard all the arguments and they suck. And unless you
yeah.
have a new argument, I don't really want to go. I've had those other arguments and I've stated my position. And although I'm not the best debater and I'm not the best speaker and I'm not the best at really much of anything, the I've given my point of view on those things, and there's not really anything else for me to sit and just have the same argument all over again. And this is the same thing that's going on with Christian nationalism and the Republican Party. It's like they have this handful of talking points. I've shown, not just said, I've shown why they're stupid and wrong and not rooted in reality. And so there's not really anything for me to discuss as far as that goes. I mean, I'll sit here and tell you why that thing is wrong. We even went and pulled up sources to show that they were wrong today. And you still didn't accept any of that because you're not listening to me anyway. You're not
Yeah.
willing to accept that you're wrong about anything, no matter what I show you. You could say, I could say, you say I have no money, and I say I've got a $10 bill, and I can hold up the $10 bill, and you would still insist that I don't have any money. Like, that's the kind of thing we're talking about here, and it is just at the point of absurdity to where I'm not
Yeah.
going to be nice to you if we have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I, like, one of the things in past conversations, I've been criticized for not being hard enough on the people that I talk to. But now I feel like I would go too far and just be an asshole. And so it's not really worth doing. It's just going to be a dumpster fire no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Because you're
I
not
mean,
going to agree about simple terms of reality.
yeah. I mean, me having a theist debate at this point, like, because I mean, people who know me know I've been atheist for like 20 something years. I've heard every single argument. They never change. My whole thing is the second they start on like, whoa, what about this? What about that? My first thing, prove your God exists first. And then we can get to everything else. And of course they can't get past the first point, so what's the point?
Hmm.
Like what's even
I don't care to show why those things are wrong, but to
yeah.
sit and have an organized debate about it is just not something that I think needs entertained. Um,
Yeah.
I've shown I today I showed every poll that's published. I showed you today, and not a one of them had a favorable, even close to a favorable rating, and
The
you
best
still
was a
denied it.
tie. The best was a tie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
So
it's
where
just
does that leave me? I'll continue to come on here and talk about why the Trump administration is corrupt, why the Christian nationalist movement supports a holy war in Iran. I'll come on here and talk about why discrimination of people is bad and all of those things. But to sit down and have an organized debate about it just doesn't make sense. Um, and that's where I'm at. Like, I've got a small
especially
platform here I'm
Yeah.
not. If you want to, I tell you what, Joe. If you want to finance the cost of me going and speaking out against these things and arguing with the people in the places where they're making the arguments, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and
I'll.
I mean, it's one of those things that there's no point in arguing with somebody who will not accept facts. And like I said earlier, if we are wrong about something and you can prove we're wrong about something, we'll be like, okay, we were wrong about that. Sorry, like we will change our opinion. The thing is this is why it baffles me that there are still MAGA, and I know there's a lot of them, but that there's still MAGA people who are atheists, because it's like they have critical thinking skills in one area and completely throw them out the window for another.
Yeah.
Like, how,
Yeah.
how, how do you square that in your head? You can't.
And look, I know what the problem is there. The problem is that it's not that you lack the critical thinking skills. It's that you don't really support the thing you support for the reasons that you say you support them. That's the problem. I think that those atheists have critical thinking, but they either support those things out of greed or hate or fear. I thought it was hilarious when Joe Biden lied about you not being able to own a cannon or a tank or a machine gun. Um, in general, you're not allowed
Okay.
to own those things.
You're also not allowed to own a nuke.
What do you mean? You're not allowed to own those things. Like just like there's conditions to where certain people and places can own them, but to the average American, you can't own those things. The cannon part, I'm not sure about actually. I don't know if you need, because it's a black powder thing. I don't know if you need anything special. Depends on the cannon, I imagine. I bet there's. Well, let me look that up. Didn't we
Generally,
didn't
yes.
we talk
Yes,
about that?
generally they're legal.
Yeah, yeah. The cannons, I guess. Yeah. You know, I think he was talking about weapons of war is what he was getting at, though. But
Machine guns are legal, but they're very highly regulated.
yeah,
And
you can't just own a machine gun. You will go to prison for that. You can't just go get you a machine gun. I think is the point. It is illegal for you to just go do that. You can't just go get a tank.
yeah,
That you know, there's certain things you have to have special permits and special privileges to have,
yeah.
and it should be that way.
Flamethrowers are legal. And
The
you know what? It's one of those things. Like, presidents are not expected to be perfect. They are fucking human too. The problem is that our current president is probably the most documented liar in history. He
Yeah.
literally lies about shit that the truth would actually help him. And he fucking lies about it.
Because he doesn't know what he's talking about, so he talks out his
Yeah.
ass and ends up bullshitting his way through everything. And he has no life experience, so he's wrong about everything. You have to have ATF approval for fully automatic weapons. That process isn't cheap or easy. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know someone that specializes in these things. He agrees with me. Well, he's wrong too. You
Well,
can
you
look it
know
up,
what?
dude.
Ambush Apostate knows his shit, so
You can
sorry.
you can look it up. Black powder earlier. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. The cannon part, I think you're right about. I agree with you. The cannon part, I think you can. I think because it's a black powder gun, essentially, it's just a big one. Um, okay. Well, whenever he says it's illegal, he doesn't mean that there is no exception to it. Do you not understand that? Also, I don't know why we're talking about what Joe Biden said. Joe Biden said a lot of
Who
crazy shit.
gives a
Like,
fuck? I know
but
he's not fucking president anymore. Who gives a fuck?
on the point of owning a machine gun, you can't just go get one. So you want to throw out this special case scenario where it's like, okay, well, he's right most of the time, but because I can find an exception where he's wrong, I'm gonna laugh and say that's a lie and whatever. Like, you may
Are
call
we going?
yourself an atheist, Joe, but you don't understand a fucking thing about critical
No.
thinking or skepticism.
Are we gonna start bitching about tan suits and mustard on hot dogs now?
Hey, I better not see a tan fucking suit.
Those fucking tan suits. Oh my god. I remember seeing that and I'm like, they are fucking losing their mind over a tan fucking. And they also lost their shit over Michelle Obama wearing a sleeveless dress. Oh my god. The shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, who?
Yeah.
Like, the outrage. Here's the biggest difference that I have seen over my 25 years of watching politics between the right and the left. The right gets outraged over the stupidest goddamn stuff. The stupidest shit.
Yeah. So
Whereas the left actually gets pissed off over
this shows your
actual
dishonesty. You're willing to be dishonest, Joe. You still need permission to get any gun. There's almost no difference. You do need a check to get a gun, but you're
Not
talking
necessarily.
about. Well,
You
no,
can
I
literally
mean,
go to a gun show and get the gun show loophole.
yeah, there
Ask
are
me
exceptions.
how I know.
Yeah, so there's exceptions to that you don't want to talk about, but you want to point out this one exception and say they're wrong because of it. When you're wrong because of an exception in what you say, there are exceptions to things. Well, I accept that. I admit that. In fact, I had it up on the screen. Um, what Seth said right here it is. This is my take on it as well, Seth. My ex-father-in-law had a dealer's license to sell firearms. Know about the process, my guy. You have to get extensive approval to have full auto suppressors, explosives, and tanks. Yes, and for most of those things, they require that you allow training to take place on those weapons for law enforcement and stuff. So to act like that it's just a nothing, oh, I can do this thing, not true. Not true.
Yeah.
The regressive right gets mad and inconsistently based on what they're told to think, not any value or principle. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing I was driving at earlier, Amber, is that you don't actually support them for the reasons that you claim to support them. You may support some policy or whatever that you're repeating some bullshit somebody said, but the reason that you support them is because of values, and your values don't match your actions. Yeah, there we go. I want one of those. Can Trump own a gun? No. But he also can't be prosecuted for it, so.
And by the way, people who say that he can't vote, he actually can in Florida because the Florida legislature restored his voting rights.
Depends on
But
the gun show, Joe.
Yeah, it does. I live in Texas, dude.
Yeah. I could go to any gun show in Kentucky and buy one for nothing. Like, it don't have to have any of that.
My son literally just bought a couple.
I'm a felon, and I can go to a gun show and buy a gun and get away with it. Like, I don't do that, and for legal reasons, I have never done that and never will. But I could if I wanted. Yeah. Yep. All right, everybody. Let's land this fucking shit chopper.
It's been a fun one, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is not me pissed off. You want to see me pissed off? There's people who know me you can talk to when I'm pissed off. This shit is fun for me.
Yeah. Helen. I live in Florida. I can go buy a gun at Walmart today. A quick background check and done. Yeah. And I could do that too at Walmart. I couldn't. But they have gun shows. This is Kentucky. There's always gun shows. It's federal law. It would be illegal. But no, Joe, you wanted to make the argument. But you can own one. But you can get one. There's an exception, right? There's even an exception to me being a felon getting a gun. I can get an exception to get a gun still, so it's not illegal. You just lied. I'll give you the same treatment you gave Joe Biden here. Why? I think it's funny that you lied and said that it would be illegal for me to own a gun, because there is a
Lied
way that
about
I can
why?
do it.
Because he lied about a few things.
We started on the illegal war and ended on guns of everybody. It makes him happy when you're pissed, Lil. Well, I don't need a gun. Yeah, I don't need a gun either.
Like I said, I'm not pissed off, dude. This is fun for me. Like, you can ask Seth. Like, I fucking love this shit. This is, dude, I do politics and this kind of shit for a living. It's fun for me.
All right, guys. So, let's see. Let's where's it at? Boom. Arc Encounter Protest 2026 will be on July 12th in Williamstown, Kentucky. I hope to see you there. I really do. It's going to be awesome. We've booked several speakers so far, including Seth Andrews. We've RFR will be there. Black Non-Believers will be there. Lil will be
I'll
there.
be there.
Seth will be there.
Yes.
I will be there. What more do you need? The There's a link for you to go donate. I expect everybody to go do that now. I will be checking if you made your donation or not. You can donate $1. It's fine. So I expect everyone to go do that. Click the link in the description. Go do the thing. Lil, you got anything else?
Not much, no.
I'll take this off your face for a second. There we go. All right, thanks, folks. Bye.